I think they have a good pro desk, and they do well with professionals. But seems like the do-it-yourselfers, they have a lot of different options now, so it kind of translates into lower loyalty, where people can go to Lowe's or people can go to Amazon.com and just buy stuff and get it delivered really quickly, and usually for free. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's important for them to come up with some kind of a differentiator to kind of create this lock on the customers, where the customer would feel, I have to go to Home Depot because everything will be super easy. It will be a one-stop shop where I'll come out having everything that I need really quickly. So I think that kind of translates, um, you know, that goes. So I'm sort of jumping into pain points, but what I want to say here first is that between professionals and homeowners, do-it-yourselfers, I want to focus on homeowners because these seem to be like the underserved group now that is sort of like jumping between different options in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so now, usually which ones? So homeowners have subcategories like newbies, occasional repairmen, and then those who are really good handyman. Um, who needs helps the most? Those are usually newbies. Like I used to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just I would come and try to figure out and just browse for hours through the shelves and try to get some help from the Home Depot workers. And then there are occasional repairmen, which what I became now is that I kind of know more or less what I need, and then I still need help from those Home Depot people who are really hard to get sometimes, because there are very few of them. And then it's good. I tend to spend then a lot of time watching YouTube videos, trying to understand what tools I'll need for the job and maybe materials. So it seems like I'm wasting a lot of time doing pre-work. Um, so that basically I started going through pain points. So I want to go to pain points now.
So
Uh,
Arsen, just to
yeah,
clarify, you were saying that you wanted to focus on the do-it-yourself
that's
customers,
right.
and within the do-it-yourself customers, you see two segments: the newbies and the occasional customer that
Yeah,
repairs something that breaks. Is that correct?
that's right.
Okay. And in the newbies, just to clarify, what are the kinds of problems that they have, and what are the kinds that is different from the occasional customer?
Sure. So I kind of wrote out 7 pain points that kind of newbies, the unprofessional crowd has.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is that I can't find stuff and it takes too long to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't find and then too long. Yeah.
Okay.
Number two, don't know which tools and materials I need to complete my task.
Mm-hmm.
So lack of tool and material knowledge, right? So to make it
Okay.
shorter. Um, um, I would like to see a how-to video on how to do the job, basically,
Mm-hmm.
like job guides, right? That's a pain point. Um, so if in the middle of the job I have a problem, in the middle of the job after having bought stuff I have a problem, I need a help from a live person, possibly over
Mm-hmm.
video or somehow. I need a professional to quickly help me, and
Mm-hmm.
then sort of leave, sort of pay as you go kind of model.
So you need the
Um, need a, let's put it this way, need um short, maybe need brief advice from a
Mhm.
professional, yeah, while on the job.
Yeah.
Okay. um so if while I'm doing the job, if job is too hard, I need to have an ability to quickly schedule a professional to come in and help.
Mm-hmm.
So need a quick way to schedule a pro, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now you go, you talk, it takes really forever to schedule anyone there. So they take a lot of information, it's really inefficient.
Okay. Could
um
schedule pro if you need the pro, like if you made a
yeah,
mistake. Okay.
yes, if eventually basically I'm a do-it-yourselfer and I'm in it and I realize I'm way in too deep, I need a pro to come in, then I need a quick way to schedule it, right? um then one second. I need so sometimes I'm at home and I sort of think I bought what I needed and I'm doing the job, and then I realize I'm missing a tool. That happened a lot. So I need a sort of a way to quickly get stuff to my house like right away, and without me actually going to the store, without wasting time.
So
Kind of.
get tools.
Yes, get tools. I was thinking like Uber, like like Uber Eats, so Uber tools. I don't know, Uber tools and materials, right? So,
Emergency.
um, so these are the pain points.
I have 5 pain points, right? Here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you have the casual user, right?
I think I have one to add to that that I have experienced, which is I don't have a pickup truck, and many a times the stuff that I get are too big, too large for my car, and when I get to the parking lot, I see that I don't fit it. I cannot fit that in.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
lack of
transportation.
transportation for large items.
Lack of proper transportation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So these are the newbies, which are.
So I kind of mix and match the Milena. So I kind of just gave you a list of pain points without thinking which user, which persona it relates to.
Okay, no problem.
So I think for me it actually is actually both. I think these pain points apply to both to a certain degree. Some more, some less, but they actually do apply to both. So I would then say pretty much that I don't need the differentiation between a newbie or like middle of the way do-it-yourselfer. I think we'll just apply to do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah, they will have certain problems. That's good. Very well. So let's go into. Let's think about the newbies that don't know anything, right? About how to do any kind of repair or kind of renovation. Now think about the person that is somewhat experienced, right? They have done this before.
Okay.
Right. What is the difference? What is the pain point? Is there a
So, well, there's a lot of similarities. Are you looking just for the differences?
Yeah, because the differences are important, right?
So maybe less reliant on advice, right? Maybe doesn't need as much the advice part, but more like just efficiency of getting stuff, of finding things.
Mm-hmm. More efficiency. Okay, that's cool. Okay.
I think there will be another segment which is newbies and lazy.
What does that mean?
Well, those are the types you'd like to just get a consultant on board. That would be me. I don't want to create
I don't want to do it either.
or like a deck. Like just have someone do it, and I'll tell them how to personalize it a bit.
So you will contract somebody to do it.
Yeah, millennials, from what I read, we're not really handy, but we like art, like we like crafting, or we like home stuff, like we like watching HGTV, but we want someone to help like create that vision for us, you know.
So I would say millennials.
Yeah, that was actually a target of mine. I focused on millennials for this one.
Which so they want to just contract, right?
Yeah, because we're just not crafty.
And what is the age group for millennials? I know I should know that, but yeah, I forgot.
Well, I'm an old millennial, so maybe around like I don't know, it's like 24 to 37.
Okay.
I'm way past that. Okay. All right, very well. The way that I approach this, I actually thought about newbies and also experienced people, and I was thinking in terms of what is the best target for Home Depot. Like the person that is just going to repair their sink or something small in the house is probably very low revenue for Home Depot. So I would focus more on the person that is actually a newbie, but actually wants to, put put a new bathroom in his house or renovate an entire kitchen. And because those kinds of customers then require, you know, a lot of products, right? Which is a lot more than just having some small repair. So based on that, I was thinking in terms of use cases for repairing entire things, you know, entire rooms, you know, renovating rooms. That to me was sort of like an objective that they would have. And I actually had some of these same pain points. For example, you know, they have no idea where to start. A new person. They need guidance on how to plan, how to select, how to execute, and they want step-by-step instructions. Right? Like, I don't want to design or measure anything. A newbie just wants to buy the stuff, and somebody tell them where to put it and how to put it together. So those were sort of like pain points. And other things that I was thinking was in this process of them putting together, you know, the way I was brainstorming this was with, if this is a newbie person, then I would go through the process of what they would be thinking. It's like, okay, where do I start? How to start? You know, in a bubble here. How do I mix and match products? What products? What products to mix and match? Like for a kitchen, right? What goes together with what to look good? You know, tell me what to do. I don't want to measure anything. I'm going to put it together. What tools do I need? And you know what? I don't want to pay for them. Can I borrow? Because it's a one-time thing. How am I know I'm doing things right? And I think this goes to what also you were saying, Arsen, you know, can I get brief advice on the job? Right, that's the same thing that you were saying. And then what are the gotchas? Like, what do I need to know? You know, you know, but I think that this way or this way, you know, they take you to the same place. All right. And, you know, at the high level, when you think about the newbies, what is it that they want? You know, I thought that what they want is usually people that they want to do it themselves. Either they do it because of the love of doing it. You know, they just want to learn. Usually these are guys. Or, you know, they have the money, but they just want to do it themselves. Or they want to do it themselves because they want to save money.
Yes.
Right? So I think that's the objective of the new and of the DIY, of all of them, is that. Right? So that's important to keep that in mind. Because it's to save money and doing it yourself. All right, so let's go to some. Also keep in mind that, remember the goal that we say is, the goal is to here. The goal, increase loyalty through differentiation. You know, and you know, value. So that we should keep in mind. So how can we provide something that meets all these pain points, but is different than the competition, and it adds more value, right? Okay, so let's think about solutions.
So, like for solutions for you know, pain point number one, which is, you know, can't find stuff and takes too long. I had an idea for like a voice controlled app that will respond with directions around the store to tell you, you know, you could say, I'm looking for nails. It will say, okay, please go to aisle 13. It's on the right-hand side, blah, blah, something like that. Something where you don't need to read too much. You can just like speak to that assistant and it will tell you what to do, where to go.
Yeah. Up with assistant.
I have a question about this part of the challenge, so to speak. If let's say you're not super familiar with the Home Depot app or whatnot, like I know that they have like a locator in there. How do you ensure that your solutions are more like highfalutin, like innovative than what you can provide?
Yeah, in this case, as you said, they're not expecting you to know, exactly, unless you are interviewing for Home Depot, you better know it, right?
Of course.
But if you're going for Google and they ask you this question, they don't expect you to know it, right? But they're looking at your thinking process, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at, okay, this person identified the users and identified clearly what the pain points are and what the different segments are. And they clearly articulated why they're going, why they're targeting this customer. And they clearly articulated what are pain points that can be addressed with a new solution, right? So they're looking to see whether you make that connection,
Mm-hmm.
Not so much whether you know already what exists.
Yeah, I think at this point, though, you probably should assume that all companies know, like, have a store locator of some sort on their apps. I can't imagine that they wouldn't unless they're so far behind.
Yeah, what Arsen is saying is to have an app so that when you are within the store, it can actually guide you to find what you're looking for. Right, Arsen?
Yes, voice control. So because the apps, I've used them and they're really kludgy, right? You have to click this, that, too many clicks. So the voice control one, it's easier. But also if we think of a process of discovery, right? Like discovering the product where it is actually two-pronged. Well, at least on a high level. Number one is you know what you want. You want nails. So you say, I want nails. It tells you where they are and just kind of voice guide you. Or number two, you don't know what you need, but you just know what kind of job you want. So you're saying, I want to fix my sink. And then what the app should do, it should probably provide you with a precompiled list of items you need to get this job done. So then you can say, for this job, with the moment you say, I need to fix my sink, it will tell you 1, 2, 3, the items are required, right? And then you can say, maybe on a screen, then show them. Then you can put check boxes as to which ones you want to find. And then step by step is going to guide you to each of them until you kind of compile them. So it's as if you're a personal assistant guide in the store that helps you to do it.
Yeah.
So that will solve the problem of where the number two, which is don't know which tools and materials I need for my task, right?
Okay. That's good. Okay, so personal assistant that guides you within.
Yeah, and provides you like the list of materials and tools like for a job.
What tools and where to find them. Okay. Yes. That sounds good.
Yeah.
And obviously this, the assumption here is that this is for a very specific job.
Yeah.
Because this tool cannot help me and say, hey, how do I put a new kitchen in my house?
So yeah, so what I meant was for like most common jobs. Let's say I want to install hardwood floors, and then it's gonna say, boom, here's the list. But the moment you say kitchen, maybe it should recognize that the job is too complex. Then you say, please go to whatever, I don't know, talk to a live person.
Now that you think about it, I would like to actually subsegment these newbies into two. I think this is mostly for specific jobs. And then there are newbies that are like doing big jobs. This is more like renovation, right?
Yeah. I really like the fact, Malena, that you kind of, instead of just grouping all customers together, you thought of like focusing on the most profitable ones, right? Who want to do a large job, right? So
yeah, because then the tools are different. I mean, the kinds of solutions are going to be different.
Yes, you're right.
This is more for specific jobs and this is for big jobs. So, I mean, it's good that we talk about it because we can recognize this. All right. So, another solution. So, this takes care of use case, lack of tool knowledge, takes too long to find things.
I think I have a solution in mind, which addresses our problems with um, not knowing how to complete a job, and not having sort of a guidance or a job aid, which would be the solution would be a smart glass based solution, which kind of smart glass based solution which reinforces the images as and when you follow each step. For example, make a cut in the wood here, or directions like that, and it's on your eye and you keep following those directions to complete the job.
So
You
Chandan,
mean, a glass.
Right.
I would think that in Google interview, right, they expect you eventually to come up with a moonshot idea. So I would say that probably would go on the category of moonshot, because the infrastructure, the capabilities are really not there yet. But you can say, yes, in the future, maybe the personal assistant, which is voice guided on your smartphone, could become in your like augmented reality headset, where it really just tells you connect these two things and screw this bolt here and stuff like that, right? But
Bring up a manual
yeah,
if
well, I
there is
mean,
a manual.
we are very far from this. So you can recommend it as the immediate solution, but
Mhm.
what you can say is that this is a moonshot idea, and this is the direction we should be working at, and kind of like this. I would really argue that point. I don't know, Milena, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that actually it doesn't sound too far from reality, because if you look at what Google has done with the eyeglass, they are actually using eyeglass in retail stores. I don't think it's Home Depot. I think it's actually Lowe's, where they're using the eyeglass with augmented reality in order to guide people to find things. Actually,
Really?
I
yes.
worked on that project.
I'm sorry.
I worked on that project.
Oh, really? Who's this?
Wow.
That was Lowe's Innovation Lab. I didn't deliver that project. I delivered another one. That's why I was asking. Like, I know what are the pain points, and just for curiosity, Home Depot has the most brand loyalty of all of those. Lowe's is the one that doesn't have brand loyalty. And so we had three projects. So one was the VR thing. That rolled out only in Canada, and the pain point is that people don't buy things because they can't figure out how that would look like on their house, right? So the idea is that someone is there, they do like uh, a sketch of your house, and then you load up in the VR thing, and then you choose the product, and then they place the product on the sketch of your house, so you can see like sizes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The second project was my project was a 3D printing one, so it's a website where you can go get like a doorknob or something, customize it, and get it 3D printed for you.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
And the third project, the problem that they have is that they don't have people that speak all languages in all stores. So they put a little robot in some stores that could speak like 6 languages, and you can speak to the robot, say what you want, and the robot will walk you to the aisle where they have the product that you're looking for.
Wow.
That is awesome. So, Carla, what you mentioned here is, it's three things, right? There's the product, there's service, which is the robots, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's providing better service. And then you're mentioning the 3D printing thing, which is innovative design. This is like product design, like customization, so to speak. And then you have the glass, right? That you mentioned is for finding stuff. I forget. No,
that was like 5 years ago, and the Google Glass is kind of like is still very new. So it was on kind of like an iPad thing. So it worked very similarly to the IKEA VR thing for the
yeah.
But that was 6 years ago, so it was very poorly constructed. At the time, it was good. Yeah.
It's interesting. One of the thoughts that I had, one solution that I had, which was more comprehensive, was actually similar to this VR thing. What I had in mind is, in order to differentiate yourself, Home Depot, from the competitors, is sort of mix up the idea of providing designer style type of rooms, like really have designers come up with really, really cool way of putting together a kitchen or putting together a bathroom, and then allow the user to basically come in and say, hey, fit this room with this style into this space, right? So you give the dimensions so that it can fit it in the space, and so that the user can see how it would look at the end. And then, get advice on how to place, for example, the toilet, how to place the bathtub, where to place it, and stuff like that. So to me, that was sort of like the solution that I was thinking. But kind of similar to VR. But the eyeglass thing, that's very interesting, Chandan. And your idea, Chandan, for the eyeglass app was to use it so that they can guide people.
They can guide people with manuals, visual steps, and a sequential workflow. And I like the idea of the 3D printing thing, and I think that directly addresses the pain point that Arsene had mentioned about, which is you forget one or two small parts, and you realize in middle of the project that you missed it. So printing something really quick through a 3D printer would serve that important and unmet need.
You're saying Home Depot can sell the 3D printer.
Sell the 3D printer or some sort of a service where it would let them access and print it on their own printer.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that,
like a paid service.
Well, when you were talking about that in a 3D printer, would be useful for example, generating tools.
Right.
That you need, or some wood things that you need to put things together. So that's
right. And in that pain point, you usually forget something very small, right? You have an idea of pretty much the big tools that you are requiring or big raw materials that you need. Something small, something minute is what you will usually miss.
The customer needs. Okay. What else?
I think I have another idea which probably would address the millennials portion who are like hooked to HGTV. A way for looking up directly in the app and saying that I want the kitchen arrangement what I saw on Property Brothers last night, or episode 37. So, somehow directly linking with what the audience is seeing on HGTV, without knowing a lot of details, but just liking a kitchen setup or a bedroom setup or just a house setup, and bringing up everything that was there in that particular arrangement.
So sort of like solution select. Which pain point is this?
I think it's I'm not able to see it.
Exactly. So I think that this is the problem sometimes when somebody when you come into these questions, you start getting a lot of ideas, solutions, but sometimes they don't meet a pain point, right? So one has to be careful, right, with this.
Sure.
All right. Good. So let's say that we have these three, good ideas. Let's see. What else did I have here? Some ideas that I had was. I told you this visualization tool that allows you to see the end product, basically your kitchen or your bathroom, and then that it provides you also guidance on what to do first, like put the toilet first and put this and put that. It will also, and what I was thinking in terms of service, if you look at Home Depot, the service is awful. Right, so I think that they will differentiate themselves better if you go in there and say, hey, I want to renovate my kitchen, help me with this and that, to have an advisor that comes back to the customer, throughout the time and check their work, just to see if they are on track or not. that would be sort of like a better customer service. So let's say that we want to now prioritize the solutions. So what do we do? So we have the app with the system, we have the eyeglass to guide you with manuals and your workflow in the printer. So, a way to prioritize quickly would be what's the impact, impact to the user goal. And the goal is to get things done themselves in an inexpensive way or learn something and back to the business. And what would be sort of like the cost of complexity?
What was the third one?
Impact. The third one is cost of complexity. The first one, impact to the user to achieve his goals or her goals. And what's the impact to the business in terms of like, well, is this going to be good for business to increase actually market share and brand loyalty? And then what is the cost of complexity? So if we put these three solutions quickly here, we have the app, the assistant, we have the glass, and then we have the 3D printer. And then we can put here impact and let's put here complexity of learners. I think it's probably better. And one thing that I always do is also at the end, if there's a tie, I also put here since this is about differentiating yourself, I will also put here how innovative this is. All right, so we have.
What was that? What did you put there?
I will put that to break the tie.
Yeah, what did you put?
As a third element, third attribute. But I always go with impact first. Like my preference would be to do something that is really very impactful, and of course low complexity. So in terms of the assistant, how impactful is that? To the user to get things done, and also to the business in terms of differentiation. The assistant to find things. It's definitely going to help the user find things quickly, meeting these pain points. Right? Not telling what tools to use.
When you say impact, are you referring to revenue impact or some other factors as well that drives impact?
Oh, impact to the user in terms of solving his problem, right? And
okay.
Then impact also to the business. Obviously, they should be aligned.
Yeah, exactly. That's so when you answer this kind of question, right? Impact is really a broad term. So, like, if you're asked question around like how do you measure impact, do you say revenue plus what? Like, because we're trying to solve for simplicity, right? So, how would you measure simplicity over there?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky in this kind of interview question because you don't want to spend too much time on this.
Okay.
So you want to sort of like eyeball it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would say is like of these three, if you look at the assistant, the eyeglass, and the 3D printer, they are solving problems. We saw that they're solving problems, right, for the user. But which one is solving a more, critical problem?
Mm-hmm.
This, the 3D printer is probably a nice to have because I can always go back to Home Depot and get the stuff. The eyeglass, to learn how to, put things together, that's important. And that's probably, that comes after I actually find the tools, right, of what I need to do. So these two, I think, are, which one do you think solves a more important problem? Or maybe both of them are impactful at the same level.
I think they both are impactful at the same time, but different cost of complexity.
Yeah. So I will put here then high impact for the user case. Let's talk about the business. Which one is going to be a more differentiating solution? And also provide high value. So
I think the app with assistant may not be a customer delight for a long time. It may end up being a table stake in the days to come, because people are used to Alexa and there are already other apps like that. It may be a nice to have today, but a year down the line, it may be just a table stake.
Somehow, I frankly don't see the parallel between Home Assistant Alexa and assistant on your smartphone that helps you while you're at the store. Um, it may become, maybe everybody will have that eventually, but somebody has to start it, right, for differentiation.
Yeah, I agree with Arsen, because for this assistant you really have to have detailed knowledge of domain knowledge of tools and the jobs to get done, very specific stuff that I think Home Depot can, with all the years that they have, in this business, they can create really an assistant that is very good at it, as opposed to somebody that's just starting to get data from the outside. So I think that this would be a good differentiator. In terms of the eyeglass, for to guide a person. What do you think?
Depends. Is there a cost to the user or the customer with this eyeglass app?
Yeah,
I think what we can do, we can rent it out, right? So because the thing to say, I'm sorry, that's my child just screaming. The category of customers is that they will not probably buy a augmented reality headset or glass just to sort of help them do a job.
Yeah.
But we can rent it out like we rent out other tools, right? And that may be cost effective and also really helpful for them, right?
Yeah.
So then the only difficulty is that we'll need to sit. I'm sorry, I'm in preschool. So we'll need to sit and think like, need to do a lot of pre-work, like putting all these sort of guides to do the jobs and different things, right? So you need to do a lot of pre-work for it. That's it.
Yeah, I think that this probably, the glass has the highest complexity, and the assistant is probably mid complexity. I mean, it's something that can probably is doable in the next years.
Well, one other thing that this is a Google interview question, and if you have an augmented reality, you probably can sell some ad space there as well, and have the manufacturer sell some ads, and they can pay for some part of cost of the glass.
Yeah.
Or that can be a revenue channel for revenue stream for Home Depot as well. They can shows ads of their new parts or materials, etc.
The business can be high. Definitely.
Yeah.
In terms of innovation, I think that both of them are innovative. Maybe the glass is super innovative. The assistant is also, I would say, mid plus. The 3D printer. Okay, that's super innovative, I think.
I think that would be high plus.
Complexity of the 3D printer.
I think it will be complex because still evolving, and it's at the only the manufacturing plants, and those are the places where you see them, not at the retail for a retail user.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what the 3D printer would help solve? I'm not as familiar with 3D printers.
Create little, when you put together things in your house, sometimes there are wood, things that are pieces of wood, that go together in certain things, and you might forget them. When you buy the products, or it can feel like maybe I don't know if what kinds of materials they can put together, but maybe they can put together tools that you also might have missed that you need to use at home. So I think it seems pretty futuristic to me. The impact, I think I would put it low here.
What 3D printer can do is that if you want door handles that nobody else has, right, or something, it can print you materials or whatever things that of a completely new design. So that's what it can do. But I just don't know how big of a market is there, and then somebody will have to come up with a design to finalize how the thing will look like, right? So
it's a little bit too niche for me.
Yeah, too niche.
So I would say low, and complexity, I think it's high. So when you go through this, in the interview, this is one of the parts where it's kind of hard, because you want to be fast, but you also want to give reasons of why you are, evaluating things the way you are. So each of you has to have, think about it and how you'll be able to explain this. I haven't yet myself found a really good way to do this fast and in a way that I can actually say this is exactly the reason why I'm selecting this high or low. But in the absence of any other way of evaluating, for me, this is one solution. So based on this, the winner, definitely the assistant. It's sort of like a low-hanging fruit. And so then, the question is, okay, so let's say that you select this as the best solution. How are you going to evaluate whether this is working for you? The goal was to differentiate yourself, increase market share. Thoughts? Metrics? It's the assistant, right? So
track job completions. I don't know, job completions.
Job completions.
Well, there's got to be like to.
So the assistant
successful.
So the assistant will help people inside the store find tools and, basically match the tools with what they want to do.
So maybe amount of time the customer spends to find a part, and then maybe the total, I guess, number of customers who actually buy things. Because if you delight them, you help them find stuff quickly, then basically the hypothesis is that they will be buying things quicker and more versus getting frustrated and leaving because they couldn't find something or not coming back, right?
Products bought.
Return visits, number of purchases.
To assistant, right? So number of products bought through the assistant, thanks to the assistant.
Yeah, that's what I probably meant, like the conversion.
Right? And also this can be revenue, right? Revenue due to assistant. Yeah, that would be something like
what is the first metric there?
The number of products bought through the assistant.
Okay.
And then that obviously converts, to revenue. All right, so, somebody wants to wrap it up. How would you wrap this up? Arsen, you want to wrap it up?
I'm thinking, and what? So basically, just say what are we choosing and why are we choosing this, right?
Yeah, like what was the problem and the solution you chose and why?
Sure. So the problem which we've kind of selected initially, we thought that we're underserving do-it-yourselfers, and we're not differentiating ourselves enough. Therefore, we focus on how can we really reduce friction for them, make the experience more enjoyable, thus increasing conversion rates and improving retention, right? Return customers. Um, we've found the pain point of people sort of trying to find things, being unable to find things, and looking to and spending too much time on finding things as being the most kind of the most important to solve. And therefore, we came up with an idea of having a personal assistant with sort of voice guided that will help customers to find whatever they need quicker, and also will help them to identify which items they need for a job quicker. In the end of the day, once implementing, we want to track and see. So the hypothesis is that the conversion rates will improve and the retention will improve. The customers will keep coming back more because of how easy and painless it is to find a product that you need without trying to find a person in the store and get help and so on.
Cool.
I'm not sure if I missed something.
Yeah.
Melanie, maybe you want to add to that.
Summary. Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts that you guys have about this type of question? No?
I think there is one other factor that goes into our prioritization, or when we are thinking about the solution, which is how easy it is to copy for the customers. Say, if Lowe's comes back and does something very quick, then we lose the whole point. So that is one thing that I consider, and what I call it as a moat or defense.
Yep. No, that's a very good point. So, what would you say about that? Is there
I think the idea of assistant, due to all the exclusive knowledge that they have, and it kind of builds an ecosystem around it. So maybe it's hard to copy, but Lowe's also probably has all that information, and may not be. It may be different, but may not be something too inferior to this if they have to come up with one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's good to think about, what can they do to differentiate their Google system. I mean,
sometimes the different sort of like that mode is in fact your first mover advantage, right? That creates a certain barrier, because the moment you do that, because there's quite a bit of work to actually come up with it. Once you come up with it, they will feel the need to catch up. While as they're catching up, you're doing something else, maybe rentals for those augmented reality headsets and more stuff. So your advantage is your first mover advantage. Maybe that, because I mean, it's hard to make some sort of like a patented crazy assistant that nobody else can copy. It's just software, really. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining today.
Thank you. Do you do this every week?
Almost
Thank
every
you.
week. Yeah, like sometimes every 2 weeks, because I get busy with StellarPeers and stuff. But
Malena,
yeah, this is
I know you never do this, but maybe can you talk a little bit more about StellarPeers and what can StellarPeers be helpful with to people like us?
How StellarPeers can be helpful?
Yeah, that's right. To people like us, because I know you never advertise, but can you please do that a little bit so to have a good idea?
Well, the main focus of StellarPeers is actually to do mock interviews to prepare for really tough companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and my goal is to create a community that helps each other, and not only that, but to create really a network of people. With LinkedIn, I don't know anybody that's in my LinkedIn profile, right? I mean, even if I ask somebody to pass my resume, there's no connection, right? Because we haven't done anything together. But what I want to create with StellarPeers is a group of people that help each other, and by helping each other, you create a bond, right? So you help the other person helps you, and there are people that are finding jobs, right, on the platform. And so by that, you are really creating a very strong professional network, right? So that's one of the also main goals for me, to create this platform, right? And
is this a paid service, or is there maybe a level of paid service at that platform?
I haven't thought about yet how to monetize it. And the reason is because we still need to work on the technology side of things in order to make it robust. I don't want to monetize it now. But I want to keep it a community. So that's my goal. So I don't want, I might not even monetize it ever, right? Because I want to create sort of like a big, strong community of people that can help each other. And that's my goal, right? Now, how to monetize it later? Maybe because of the blogs that we write, some blogs we may make them premium or not, right?
Or some people may need like more intensive prep, like super intensive prep, or like focused prep, right? Versus more like kind of like at a slower pace, right?
And there are some people that are sort of, there are different kinds of segments, right? There are guys that are really going for Google, right? And they practice like crazy, sort of like me. And then there are people that are more like, okay, I have an interview next week. I should practice at least once. These are those people, right? And then there are the people that are in the middle, right? And then there are people that are not targeting the top companies. They're targeting startups, right? So it's more behavioral, right? So there are different kinds of segments.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to identify what is the right sort of a subscription type, I would say, for each of them, right? But my goal always has been to really keep it this sense of community. I don't want people to think, oh, we're selling your information, for companies or whatever, right? That's not what I want to do. And I think it's a way to really make friends, really, really strong friends, professional friends, which I have made on this platform, right? And that only happens if you do something hard with somebody, right? Because really preparing yourself for these interviews is hard. Who wants to do
Very
that?
true.
Right?
Very true.
So that's what my vision for this.
Thank you so much, Malin. I really appreciate
I
it.
I would like to take 30 seconds to share a crazy Google question that somebody got asked last week.
Sure.
So you are a YouTube PM, and there is an island which has great infrastructure and great LAN network. It's not connected to the internet, but they have their own LAN network inside. They only get connected to internet through Project Loon, which is a balloon that comes by the island for 1 hour in a day. And that can be 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon. The people don't know what time the balloon comes by, but it's only 1 hour. So you are a YouTube PM. How would you leverage that situation and provide the maximum viewership for the people on the island?
Okay. Well, Chandan, I will ping you.
All right.
We should do this, Milena. We should do this next time.
Yeah, totally. Let's get it on the calendar.
All right.
Good question. I will ping you, Chandan, so you can give me the description of the question again. Maybe we'll do it in the middle.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm going to jump off. It's late for me.
Sure.
Thanks. Bye now.
Thank you,
Thank
Malin.
you. Bye.
All right, guys. I'll see you.
Bye, guys.